Hey, Rylan here at the Vic Shop. Here it is. It's almost 2023, and I've got this '08 Vision that has a typical 2008 Vision problem, which is the throttle body boots are all rotted out. And I guess I've been talking about this for years, and yet there are still bikes coming in that have this problem, which is crazy to me. So I'll just make another video, I guess, and inform the next batch of owners about the typical problem with the 2008. And so they had a bad batch of this throttle body boot, which lets air into the engine underneath the throttle body, and it would leak air terribly. I got a new one here. I got this part at victorymotorcycles.com, which is the official Victory Polaris website. The throttle body boot, so it comes apart. I'll show you here in a second. And leaks air, and then it makes it run bad. And this has been a known issue since 2008. But yet there's still bikes like this one was on a cross-country trip when something else broke, and I happened to take a look down here knowing it's a 2008 and went, holy crap, your boot is still original, hasn't been replaced. Oh my gosh, So here's, to the next generation of Vision owners, check this. And it only happens on '08s. It's just a bad batch. And so in 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way up to 16, not a problem. I don't even worry about it. But on '08s, it is a problem, and I do worry about it. And I do recommend you replace it with the OEM version. I don't like the one aftermarket version that's out there. I think it causes more issues than it solves. So let's talk about replacing it real quick here. We'll start with also I bought these idle air valve hoses as well. Now this is a problem that can happen to any '08 and all the way up to 17 bike, wherein it's got these rubber plastic hoses that are also in there for the emissions system, and they'll break down and get cracks in them just like a tire will, and not confined to the '08s. It's '08 to 17, and of course this one needed them as well. So I got both those parts, again, victorymotorcycles.com or the aftermarket reseller of your choice, but all these are Victory OEM parts. So those two parts are what we're going to replace today. And I see a lot of people just do a cursory glance. And so we got the coil here, and a lot of guys will go, that looks fine to me, keep on riding. What you need to do is take the coil off. It's just 4 bolts and a wire connection. And take a look in there. Where'd my light go? Let's take a look. So this one was quite obvious, and let's see what I want to do here. Multiple hands. I think we can see it without the light. So this one is falling apart to the extent that I can just peel this rubber back. This, of course, should be one piece and all put together and not be falling apart like that. Now, sometimes it takes you a little bit of prodding, and you'll get in there, and at first glance, it'll seem all right until you kind of get your pick in there and start going, holy crap, this thing is all loose, and then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's ruined. So this one, I got a bunch of stuff removed for clarity, and I'll tell you the way that a person replaces this is the same as doing cams, wherein you're jacking up the back of the frame here and raising it up. So we remove the 2 motor mount bolts here, and then I use a bar, and that's kind of positioned like that, and force the front part of the frame up and drive a screwdriver into the hole to hold it there. And that's what's exaggerated the come on now, baby, exaggerated the problem and kind of tore these apart, which is fine. So when you go to replace it, it's not fun. So you jack that up, and then you want to be careful of the throttle position sensor here, because it's clocked at a certain voltage. And you're going to want it out of there to try to get the boot out, because the way to get the boot out is try to slide it out of here, and it's going to be tempting to try to remove that that screw there with the safe, the tamper-proof Torx. But they put a tamper-proof on there for a reason, and the fuel injection is based on that being clocked exactly right to the tenth of a or hundredth of a voltage, volt, and so on this bike I'm going to retune it with Power Commander. It's an old 08, and it doesn't have the ability to be tuned with like a Maximus, but both of those engine controllers, I'm going to back off here, both of those engine controllers have the ability to read the voltage on that sensor. So yeah, both those controllers have the ability to read the voltage on the sensor, so I can take the sensor off and do my thing and put the sensor back on, get into the software and set that sensor exactly right so that it reads the same, the same as where I had before I took it apart. And if you don't have the ability, you will absolutely screw up your bike. If you go, well, I can see the shadow, I'm just going to get it, no, it's not going to happen. And you also won't be able to do it with you could, I suppose, get your fluke out and your multimeter and try to pin out the thing and get it. It's just a huge pain in the butt. So I get that issue. People call me quite a bit on that. Like, hey, I put a new boot in there and I took the throttle position sensor off, and now I'm getting a code. The bike won't run. I can't figure it out. And that's the problem. Otherwise, it's a straight up R&R. Just remove and replace. Jack the frame up. Loosen the clamps. Get the bolts out. Slide it out. Put the new one in. Put it all back together. I'm going to put some new idle air valve hoses in there at the same time. You know what? While we're here, let's put a set of spark plugs in there. Can't hurt. It's like $8, for the stock OEM NGK spark plugs. And it's on the lift. Let's check the air filter, the battery terminals, the battery condition, and then it turns into just like full service. And I just fielded an email this morning from a guy that bought a low mileage 2008 Vision that's just been sitting in storage. So that stuff's still out there, it's still happening, and it's a great bike. You just got to know about those couple of issues and how not to fall into a pit of despair when it's not running right, and then you find this, and then it's not repaired right, and this should be quick and easy. So enjoy that 2008 Vision.